So we rarely see the variety of key lock grip to cause a straight arm submission. And since this is an old catch wrestling match, the intent here is not to get the guy to say uncle. The intent is to make it a punishment hold where the other man voluntarily pins himself to escape the pain and the pressure. Um, but this is a pin position and submission attempt that we still see in Olympic judo very often, actually, even if you're not necessarily allowed to do the bent arm locks or use that grip per se. They'll still have a very similar top crucifix kind of pin with some sort of grip around the forearm. They just have to be very careful to not make it not look like an udigurami, where that's against the rules. But this is actually the final pinning moment of this match, if memory serves. And when you look at the key lock grip that he has on his arm, it, in my opinion, is the kind that exerts straight elbow hyperextension pressure rather than the bent shoulder lock pressure. And the only other thing that I enjoy looking at when I see this is that he almost had the top man almost had the opportunity to do a figure four arm control as well, but just didn't seem to bother. If I were a modern grappler doing this in an adversarial match, I would probably sync up that figure four just to exert additional top crucifix control. But other than that, this sequence could have been right out of a modern day submission grappling move, especially the initial headlock sacrifice roll that also looks remarkably like a guillotine roll, and they would have called the guillotine choke a chancery. It's just a slightly different terminology. But again, this is one of those little moments of a classic pro wrestling or catch wrestling match, which looks out of time, meaning like it looks like it could have been also taken with a shitty camera, but in the present day. And the only other thing you would have said is, why are they wearing the weird boots? But other than that, I mean, these mechanics are pretty sound and they're pretty compatible with modern day grappling.